And this morning, the United Kingdom has a king for the first time in 70 years. And its people are in mourning for the only monarch most of them have ever known. Queen Elizabeth II was 96 years old when she died yesterday at Balmoral Castle. That's her summer home in Scotland. Buckingham Palace announced the news at 6:30 p.m. local time. The statement said she died peacefully but gave no other details. Here's a look at the gates outside Balmoral, where mourners are leaving flowers and notes in honor of the Queen. As you would expect, this is front-page news all over the world. Newspapers are remembering the Queen and her record-long reign as Britain begins an official period of mourning that will last through her funeral.
Hard to believe, but the last time we saw the Queen was in these photos taken just on Tuesday as she appointed, in another bit of ceremony, Liz Truss to become Britain's new prime minister, the 15th prime minister the Queen met in this way. After she died, Truss spoke to reporters outside 10 Downing Street.
Queen Elizabeth II was the rock on which modern Britain was built. Today, the crown passes, as it has done for more than 1,000 years, to our new monarch, our new head of state, His Majesty, King Charles III.
And the new king is expected to meet with the prime minister later today, one of the first official acts he will take as Britain's monarch. Charles is also expected to make a speech on national television, 6 p.m. local time this afternoon here in the U.S. And we have a team of correspondents who've been following this news since yesterday. They're in London and elsewhere. We're going to have full coverage of this truly era-defining story over the next 2 hours. But we're going to go first to Holly Williams, back outside Buckingham Palace, where thousands of people gathered yesterday to mourn the nation's loss, gathered in the hours after the news broke, and gather still this morning in a light rain. Holly, good morning.
Good morning. Well, this moment was, of course, inevitable, but there's still a sense of shock here because it's so hard to imagine this country without her. And for many British people, the Queen embodied what they believe is best about themselves. Yes, she was reserved, a woman of few words, but she was also reliable, steadfast, and had a religious commitment to her nation.
Our last images of the Queen, still with a mischievous smile, still doing her duty, meeting Britain's new Prime Minister just 2 days before her passing.
This is BBC News from London. Buckingham Palace has announced the death of Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth II.
That was how her people heard they'd lost a much-loved monarch. Outside Buckingham Palace's golden gates, her death was announced in traditional style. But even before that, with the worrying news of her poor health, crowds were gathering as a double rainbow appeared overhead. God Save the Queen, they sang, this country's national anthem. Except now it will become God Save the King. Truly the end of an age, spelled out by the British Prime Minister.
We usher in a new era in the magnificent history of our great country, exactly as Her Majesty would have wished, by saying the words, God Save the King.
The first news that she was seriously ill came at around noon yesterday, the palace saying her doctors were concerned for Her Majesty's health. In the reserved language of the royal family, that was enough. The country held its breath. Close family members, including Charles, Princes William and Harry, raced to the Queen's summer home, Balmoral Castle in Scotland. By the early evening, we were told she was gone.
How are you?
Well, as you can see, I can't move.
The Queen has looked frail for months, often using a walking stick. And there was a wave of public sympathy as she buried her husband, Prince Philip, last year. But when she celebrated her Platinum Jubilee this past June, marking 70 years on the throne, she didn't just greet her people from the balcony of Buckingham Palace, she stole the show.
Tea? Oh, yes, please.
Appearing in this witty sketch with Paddington Bear.
Happy Jubilee, ma'am. And thank you. people everything.
That's very kind.
She is an impossible act to follow. A woman, a queen, and the iconic face of her country.
She ascended the throne a fresh-faced 25-year-old mother. She left it a great-grandmother. And she leaves behind a grateful nation. And that's the word here this morning, gratitude. Jarika.
What a legacy and what a piece. Holly Williams for us at Buckingham Palace. Thank you.